As time goes on, I find it a lot harder to kind of take into account what I have and what I should be thankful for, what is sacred. As far as worldly things go, the places around you, the people around you, it seems as though everything that I would have held sacred long ago has been, you know, taken or made into something else or just outright destroyed. As this progresses, you know, it just it seems to just get worse. I don't know really how to express this, at least in a manner that doesn't sound entirely, you know, smooth-brained, I guess, but I don't know. The it's like things as simple as like the sanctity of nature. You try to look around you and enjoy, the simple gifts God has given to you, the world around you, the earth you inhabit, and it seems that the powers that be, the forces that affect the earth would be, are so hell-bent on destroying nature, almost as if it was some invading army to be conquered. It's funny how that works, considering there are foreign enemies invading us and nothing is done about it. Ironic, perhaps. Especially, yeah. But just, especially in, I guess, my neck of the woods, there isn't really much nature to look at. There isn't much to be all that not proud of. It's not your nature, it's God's nature, but to like Google that, I suppose, right? Something like that. It really does just seem to get like worse and worse. Every single aspect of it just gets to a point. At what point really does someone quit? They see all of this and they just stop. I don't know. I get the feeling a lot of the people who I consider friends of mine, or at least people who are close to me in some regard and talk to me on a semi-regular basis, see me as nothing more than some sort of theoretical punching bag. I understand I don't really make myself a person to be envied, but I also don't think that you should base your entire personality on what people should envy about you. Maybe in that sense, I'm not putting the mask on correctly. I have intentions and dreams and ideas that I don't tell them, of course. I don't think anyone is that open with how they feel, but in other cases, maybe I'm a little too vulnerable. I don't know. I don't know. I don't act in the way that men are supposed to act or that anyone is really supposed to act. I feel as though I'm far too emotional and I let that dictate how I act more often than not. But at the same time, I feel as though emotion is the most important catalyst for human behavior. How is someone supposed to act without emotion? If you force someone to act in a completely quote unquote rational manner, they're not human at that point. They're a program. If this, then this, act within the bounds of what is accepted. have no agency or not a single thought unique to your head. But I suppose others don't like that, and that leads to a lot of ostracization, however the fuck you pronounce it, right? Look at me, I know big words. I know big words, guys. I know big words. I know big words. I'm smart. Isolation and just, you know, outright exile in some cases. Just seems as though a lot of the time, when it comes to my behavior, especially, it's like I don't know. I feel as though a lot of people act the way I do. I don't think it's particularly strange how I act, or at least I like to think not. I like to think that the way I act is normal in some regard, and other people do it, and I see other people who act that way. I see other people who have the same behavioral, patterns as I do, and I'm like, well, why is that I'm rejected and that these people are embraced? Either, leave me alone or bully these people too. And it's not bullying. It's not as if I'm being like directly targeted. That happened years ago in like high school, like middle school, but that doesn't happen now. When people grow up, they find better ways to, you know, not to target someone, but it's just the norm. It's the norm at that point to just kind of like, oh, well, this guy's acting in this manner. So he's wrong and bad, and, maybe we shouldn't hit him or hurt him anymore, but we should just not not allow him to come anywhere near our group. We can't have our group be tainted. That would be terrible. You know, something like that. And it's not as if I'm so resentful as to like, I just wish these people would perish. I wish these people would, would have something bad happen to them. It's not like that at all. It just confuses me a lot of the time, and I do get angry and resentful, spiteful at some points, but at the same time, it's also like this is so far behind me that it doesn't like matter how I was treated in the past, how I'm treated now. It's like, I suppose, that sucks, but I don't, it's not something to like go ape shit over, I guess. It's, it's like a nothing. It's like a non-event, really. But I don't know. It's like the things I do hold sacred, though, just like going away. I don't take pleasure or joy in most of the things that I would take pleasure or joy in doing. I try to do something that I would be like, oh yes, this is fun, this is good. And it's like not anymore. It's just it feels more often than not that I'm just going through the motions of life than living or enjoying or using like my brain. There's nothing like intriguing anymore. It's not like you like you have something engaging. It's just nothing. It's just like it's just this dull experience. You're tired, you're lazy, you're bored. And laziness is just like a byproduct because you don't want to do any of this anymore. It's like you just don't want to. I don't know. Nobody wants to be the guy behind the desk typing up another Word document for like 50th time this day. It's not the life anyone envisioned for themselves. I don't think anyone envisions for themselves the life that they have unless they just are incredibly lucky, which in that case, good for you, I guess. But I don't know, being a useless wagey and suffering and struggling in school, it's just like, I don't know. I suppose that's just a part of everyone's life, right? Kind of part of the American dream is getting your degree and then not flipping burgers anymore, right? Seems like the people around me who work in like what would be entry level jobs are all like 30 years old and you know, wow, 30 years old, you know, two kids relying on wage pay to get by. It's like, what happened? What happened to that dream? Sorry, there was someone driving by me and he was like going very slow, but his engine was very loud. It was odd to me that you'd have such a loud engine and then go so slowly in your little truck. But, you know, whatever, right? More of the same, nothing ramblings from me. You can probably listen to this and listen to any other fucking track that I have uploaded and be like, oh, well, it's all the same for him. And yeah, I suppose that's just the mindset I'm locked into now, isn't it? You know, it's just how I think and how I feel. And trust me, I've been put under microscope before. I've been, made to be some sort of science experiment for a psychologist or some sort of therapist. And let's see how I can affect this person's behavior, their psychology, and how they think and how they feel. Let's put them on all these medications and these regimens and these behavioral therapies, quote unquote. And no, I'm sorry that doesn't quite work that way. It's not how the human mind wants to work. If the human mind believes in something so much, then they're locked into that. They can't just change that. You know, that's impossible. I've felt this way for as long as I can remember, and despite my cowardice and not taking any action about it. Maybe soon. Maybe not. Probably not, all things considered. With this line of thinking comes an extreme amount of cowardice, and of course, cowardice comes in action. I'll probably be here in my chair, fucking screaming about the injustices of the world until finally the world takes me. But, you know, I suppose that's a good majority of people nowadays. So I'm not so different. I'm part of the problem, but I'm not so different. So I guess that excuses me, correct? Yeah, whatever. I'm simply too lazy to upload anything professional. It's like I could write a script and put my thoughts together and make myself sound so intellectual, but in reality, I'm really not any more intellectual than the average person. I'm not a prestigious member of academia or something of the sort. I'm just a person. I'm a person who has ideas that might be considered a little bit oddballish at some points, but that's only if you're like the most generic, human of all time. no original thoughts in your head. You're just kind of like average Joe. But yeah, been trying to close this off for like the better part of 5 minutes now. Yeah, yeah. What a what an intellectual I am, right?